Native American artist Anita Fields has been named one of 9 2021 National Heritage Fellows by the National Endowment of the Arts. Photographer Ethan Pierce profiles a Tulsa artist working with ceramics and textiles to dispel misinformation surrounding Native peoples.
The National Endowment for the Arts Heritage and Folk Award are the nation's highest award recognizing people in those fields. It recognizes the contributions made by artists and makers who are representing their cultures. It values the work that you do during your career.
Anita Fields calls the clay and textile medium she uses the thread that connects the past, present, and future. It is a continuum of knowledge and skill that has been handed down to her.
So I was born in Hominy, Oklahoma, in Osage County. There was a time period that my dad built a home for us in Osage County, northwest of Hominy, and that was on my great-grandfather's allotment, original allotment. I have really vivid memories of making mud pies and putting them on a board and pushing them out into the hot Oklahoma sun. The same thing with, picking up a needle and thread. My grandmother was a great seamstress, and so she had this great, like a basket, this bag full of remnants and, and leftover material that she wasn't using. And so I asked her to teach me how to sew. I was really young, and so I know as an adult now that those were my first instances of understanding color, pattern, design. Happened before, I even went to art school.
Fields is a member of the Osage and Muskogee Nation and has been with the Tulsa Artist Fellowship for 5 years.
I'm a multidisciplinary artist. My work primarily focuses on contemporary clay sculpture, and I also am a textile artist. My textiles run from traditional Osage ribbon work, that is what we use to adorn our clothing for our ceremonials and our social dances within the Osage culture. But I also make textiles that are contemporary as my clay work that I do.
Anita's work was part of a recent exhibit at Tulsa's Philbrook Museum called Hearts of Our People, which originated at the Minneapolis Institute of the Arts. She was commissioned to make a contemporary Osage wedding coat that was featured in that show. Fields was also one of 3 Native women selected to be a part of an exhibit at the Gilcrease Museum called Weaving History into Art, the Enduring Legacy of Shan Gasharn, a talented basket weaver who died of cancer in 2018.
I want people to understand that we come from a very complex culture, that our worldview is very complex and has many layers to it, that it is based on observation of nature eons and eons ago. It's based on how things relate and interact to one another, and what our place is in that interaction, how dependent we are on that scope of life, but also one another. And I really hope to dispel stereotypes about our Native people, that each tribe is unique in itself. Each tribe has its own language, its own ways of being, its own way of thinking about, our place in the world.
The NEA Fellowship includes a medal and cash award of $25,000 with no stipulations. Each recipient will be featured in a 6-minute film that will debut November 17th on the National Endowment for the Arts website.
A lot of times the work that we do as artists can be devalued or not looked upon as something that is extremely worthy. And as makers and people who are artists, we know that really it's the work that we do that is the soul of a society and a culture.
Ethan Pierce, the Oklahoma News Report.